Good evening and welcome to the Monday's edition of the Regional News. Brazil's Minister of Health has declared a medical emergency in the Yanomami territory, the country's largest indigenous reservation bordering Venezuela, following reports of children dying of malnutrition and other disease caused by illegal gold mining. A decree recently published by the incoming government of President Luis Lula da Silva said the aim of the declaration was to restore health services to the Yanomami people that had been dismantled by the far-right predecessor, Jair Bolsonaro. In 4 years of Bolsonaro's presidency, 570 Yanomami children died of curable diseases, mainly malnutrition, but also malaria, diarrhea, and malformations caused by mercury used by white-collar gold miners. Lula visited a Yanomami health center in Boa Vista in Roraima, following the publication of photos showing children and elderly men and women so thin their ribs were showing. The government announced food packages that will be flown to the reservation, where some 26,000 Yanomami lived in the region of rainforest and tropical savanna the size of Portugal. The reservation has been invaded by illegal gold miners for decades, but incursion multiplied since Bolsonaro won office in 2018, promising to allow mining on previous protected lands and offering to legalize wildcat mining. Some gold miners have begun to leave, fearing enforcement operations by Lula government, and appear to be heading across the border into neighboring Guyana and Suriname. Lula said the new government will put an end to illegal gold mining as it moved to crack down on illegal deforestation in the Amazon, which surged to a 15-year high under Bolsonaro. We now look at news from Trinidad and Tobago. Attorney Christine Carla Kangulu has been elected as the president of Trinidad and Tobago, succeeding outgoing head of state Paula Mae Weeks, and in the process becoming the second woman to be elected to the position. Kangulu, who resigned her position as Senate President earlier last week and was nominated by the government, easily defeated veteran senior counsel Israel Khan, who had been nominated by the main opposition United National Congress. The electoral body, which is composed of all members of the House of Representatives and the state assembled together, took just over 2.5 hours to vote in support of Kangulu by secret ballots. The government has 38 votes in the body while the opposition has 28. When the results were announced, Kangulu received 48 votes, Khan received 21 votes, and 3 were rejected ballots. The presiding officer, Bridget George, who was also the Speaker of the Parliament, said under the Constitution, the candidate who has obtained the greater number of votes cast shall be declared elected. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, in nominating Kangulu, said that a former government minister, university lecturer, during her term of office as President of the Senate, acted as President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago no fewer than 33 occasions. Kangulu is the only person to serve as both President and Vice President of the Senate. She becomes the 7th head of state and the Commander-in-Chief. And we close with another story from Brazil. Brazilian Finance Minister Fernando Haddad played down the idea of a single shared currency between Argentina and Brazil, saying the countries were looking at ways to stimulate bilateral trade but not extinguish their own currencies. His remarks came after Brazilian President Luis Lula da Silva and Argentine leader Alberto Fernandez published a joint article saying their aim for greater economic integration included studies of a common South American currency. Haddad, who floated such a possibility in an article last year, said removing trade barriers between the two large economies in South America could involve using a single currency for commerce, given a lack of US dollars in Argentina. But that does not spell the end of the Brazilian real, he said. Haddad noted Argentina was an important buyer of Brazilian industrial goods and that several possibilities were being floated to circumvent its currency problems, though no decision had been made. On Sunday, Lula and Fernandez said in an article published on the Argentine website, Perfil, they would advance discussion on a common South American currency that can be used for both financial and commercial flows. Thank you for watching. I'm TIANA.